10 races are in the books in this Sim500 Transervice Winter Truck Series season, and now the time opens up to see who can win the quest for the belt. The Transervice Winter Truck Series Championship playoffs begin tonight. Race number 1 of 4. 10 drivers with a chance to win the championship in just a few races as we get ready to rock and roll from the first race, and arguably maybe the most challenging of the 4. Bristol Motor Speedway, virtually on iRacing. It is the site of round 1 of the playoffs. We welcome you in to the last great Coliseum here on iRacing. I am the captain, Chris Scala, as we get ready for 160 laps of racing in the middle of the afternoon. 79 degrees, the traditional iRacing default weather. That is not the main topic, though, when we bring up the weather when it comes to this series. It has always been the heat index, or the track temp, I should say, in the race. Because heat index, they don't even show that in iRacing. I don't know where that came from. But look down here in the bottom right. You see 123 degrees right now. That's a track temp. That'll likely hit close to 140 degrees before this race is over with. So it's going to get slick, and it's Bristol. So let's just go with that right now. Let's take a look at the 10 drivers that'll be in the battle for the playoffs. Pedro Mojica, of course, he has won all but one start so far in the series. He actually has 7 races counted. He took a provisional, I believe, in one of the races. Eric Arnold right there, and as you see the rest of them all tied up: Coleman, Dalton, Gillenwater, Higman, Kelly, Montesi, Tommy Ryan, and Bobby Wetzel. Those 10 drivers going to race for the playoffs. The most points after 4 races will be the champion, and will have the belt of the Transervice Winter Truck Series champion. We're ready to rock and roll. Let's go down on track here and get some qualifying done. Cars are out there running laps. As Eric Arnold just jumped up there to the pole. Let's see if I can find a playoff driver. How about this guy right here? Mike Montesi in the 6 truck as he goes out here on track. Roy Woods right now at the top with a 15:03. Hearing some mixed signs of where people are running right now in the race and where it's going to be good to run. Some are going to be on the bottom, some are going to be on the top. I think it just comes down to tires and how you're able to manage them. Looked like there for a second we might see Radford jump to the pole, but I didn't see him jump up. And now we got, just looking down here at the bottom, see who's green and who's in the yellow. Is Bob Gillenwater. Lives kind of nearby Bristol here. He crosses the start-finish line and goes P4 with a 15:05, so the time's right on top of another. As it goes down the back straightaway into turn 3. Well, this half-mile track banked at 24 to 28 degrees of banking. Gets a little sideways off turn 4, and that's going to be his lap, 15:05. For Bob, mostly everybody's already ran a lap here. Josh Parker's out here running laps in his Suave hair truck. E.J. O'Rourke, he's going to come out in his personal comfort number 41. And again, we appreciate everybody joining us here tonight, not only on the Captain Esports Network, but we're over on iRock TV. If you have a Roku, and hold on, EJ. And I think he's going to pull a Kyle Petty here. I always bring up Kyle Petty at Pocono. Is the one time I remember somebody actually turning around and going all the way back to like turn 1, turning back around and going all the way to the start-finish line to try to get his qualifying lap. And I forget what year that was, but I'm sure he's not the only one that's ever done something like that. But they do get 5 minutes of qualifying, so you still got a minute and a half lap to left to run a 15-second lap or so. Good turn 1 and 2, brings it down to the middle. Down the back straightaway, turn 3, puts it right down on the, what would be the white line, but it's just a transition there to the apron. Almost catches the wall, and not a good lap. Unfortunately for EJ, I'm seeing him actually 6th. I'm sorry, so it was actually a decent lap at a 15:08. And everybody else pretty much looks like has ran qualifying that's going to do so. So that's going to wrap up qualifying here Got about 30 seconds to go. I don't see anybody else getting out on track. So let's step away for a quick second and let's talk about iRock TV, as they have a podcast on their channel you can check out. Here it is. All right, qualifying all done as we're back at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Got about a minute or so before we get ourselves into the race itself, and I have grabbed the pole sitter for tonight's opening race of the playoffs. Now, it's a driver not in the playoffs, but looking to make a mark and get himself a win here at Bristol Motor Speedway virtually on iRacing, and that is Doy Woods in the 28 truck. Looking pretty sporty there. Great lap.
Yeah, I kind of just took it easy getting into one and hit 3 and 4 really good. Truck's pretty good. You know, the guys gave me a great truck, so it's up to me. So the pressure's on, and it's up to me to see what I'm able to do about it.
An off-the-fly kind of question here for you, Doy. Being the old-school race fan you are, obviously run that 28 with the Davey Allison, stuff like that. Of course, tribute to him. Were you a fan of the asphalt Bristol, or do you like the concrete Bristol?
The concrete's okay, but I remember the old Bristol days. I wish we could go back to that because the cars and trucks are so fast that I think the old Bristol would probably slow them down and you'd probably get better racing. But I like this track. It's been good to me. I've had some good runs, so I like Bristol in general.
All right, my man. Well, hey, great job tonight and good luck in the race.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Doy Woods joining us here tonight. We're moving down to team name. For those who don't know, Bristol before 1995, I think it was a asphalt track. And the reason why they went to concrete is actually because the concrete can withstand the speed of these cars and the weight of these cars. If you look at like Martinsville, for instance, the corners are concrete because the asphalt would tear the tires would tear the asphalt up. So basically, Bristol swapped over to concrete to kind of help with the speeds and stuff of the track. So that's basically the story of why you see concretes on tracks like here in Dover and Martinsville and so on and so forth. So, but either way, yeah, I would be interested. I have to go back. I don't have enough information of laps ran at the old Bristol to be able to say, hey, I like the asphalt racing at Bristol more. I'm going to have to go on YouTube or something and check it out. Here's the start lineup for the race here at Bristol tonight. Doy Woods, as I mentioned, on the pole tonight. He'll start alongside Eric Arnold. John Hickman Jr., good qualifying lap for him. He'll start alongside Bob Gillenwater. You'll notice the green numbers again for those in the playoffs. But row 3, Brandon Medford making his debut tonight for Falcon Motorsports. I believe that is. And E.J. O'Rourke. Tyler Dalton, Nigel Standish in the 8th position. Pedro Mojica, Bobby Wetzel in row 5. Row 6, Mike Montesi and Derek Myers there. Row number 7 is where you'll see Troy Radford and Jose Speedy Gonzalez, the winner last week. Got his first career win there at Homestead. Scott Simley, Jeff Ryan in row 8. Row 9, Jimmy Coleman, Stoney Benfield. Row number 10, Ron Holyfield and Mike Kelly in the 20th position. Doug Sigmund and Josh Parker, row 11. Row 12, Jason Branch and Joe Hudson. Row 12, Garrett Austin, Brian Wortman, Gerald Livingston, the 27th and final position. The only playoff driver I do not see on the list tonight making an appearance is, unfortunately, Tommy Ryan in the 6 truck. So I'm not sure, just unfortunately going to miss the race or whatnot, but he'll start in a little bit of a deep hole, but he'll have 3 races to potentially catch it up. 160 laps of racing tonight here on the Captain Esports Network and on iRock TV. We appreciate you joining us. The final Sunday night race of 2022 before we take a couple weekends off and get back to 2023. As Woods and Eric Arnold bring it to the green flag at Bristol. The playoffs are underway. Eric Arnold, great start on the outside. For the 3rd straight week, I think the outside lane got a better start, and Arnold gets the wall off turn 2. Our cameras, as always, presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook. They're also in the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. Woods trying to take it easy, I think, on an inside lane as these trucks get wound up and up to speed. get their tires up to temp. Right there, the 83, that is Brandon Medford making his debut tonight. In the outside there, it's Nigel Standish in the 09. Tyler Dalton behind him with Pedro Mojica. Arguably the guy to beat, they think, in the playoffs this season. He's been the guy to beat most of the regular season. As Eric Arnold's pulled away to about 0.3 of a second right now on Bob Gillenwater, who's moved up to second. EJ O'Rourke up to third. We ride with Tyler Dalton here, the 19 truck. And Montesi on the inside there. You got to trust that that truck is going to give you room on the top side. You see Montesi going to complete the pass on the bottom. I think you're going to see a very racy track here. Usually after a couple laps, the top side becomes the dominant way to go, but you're not seeing it right now here. Seven laps in the books. Now you're starting to see the outside roll a little bit more, I think. Here's Montesi's getting stuck down here. Here comes Medford as Mike gets loose. Tyler had to adjust there for a second. Meanwhile, up here for fourth, Doy Woods in that UPS truck trying to get around John Higman. Higman fighting back on that top side in that 60 truck. And there's Dalton and Medford now as they got by Montesi there for the position. So Dalton's starting to get rolling. There's Derek Myers on the top side, still trying to get his first career win in the series, in the trucks at least. Running for Transervice, of course. One truck loose back there on the apron. I think it's Stoney Benfield. I say by the 75. As he battles the 34 right now of Garrett Austin. As Higman now with Pedro Mojica, the battle for fifth. Again, I mentioned the numbers over on the left-hand side of the screen. Those in green, those drivers are in the playoffs. They'll be the 4 or the 10 battling for 4 races. Whoever can score the most points straight up will be the champion. Now, Pedro Mojica, as you saw in the points, has a 15-point advantage. That is because he got a 3-point bonus every time he won a race. And he was the only one in the playoffs to win a race. So that gives him the 15-point advantage, or head start, if you will, going into what I'm trying to call the quest for the belt. Ron Holyfield, Mike Kelly here. They ride behind Josh Parker, Mr. Start in the back there, and there's Scott Simley behind him in the 12. All back here around the 15th position right now. 17 laps in this race already out of the 160. 100% fuel, so easily a one-stop race. Worst case, you split the run in half if you want to. Battle for second is O'Rourke. Top side on Bob Gillenwater. And EJ takes the spot away, looking to be the spoiler in the playoffs here. As Arnold's led the first 19 laps in this race. Apparently that wall shot he took on lap 1 there in turn 2 didn't bother the truck much at all. Front 4 right there within 1.2 seconds of each other. Medford did not. Dalton back here in 8th and 9th. Back here with Troy Radford. Montesi, the 11th and 12th here. Obviously going to see tight racing throughout. Pretty hard to spread this field out. As you see Mike Kelly and Jeff Ryan, the 2 and 3 truck. This is the 13th place battle as Kelly tries to roll through the field here a little bit. He's already gained some 7 spots in this race. You see these guys racing all the different lanes here you get at Bristol. Daytime racing. Arnold's done a great job of pulling away here. He's up to 7/10 of a second, so that 31 must know something tonight with this truck and this setup at Bristol. As Tyler Dalton passes the 09 of Standish, bringing Medford with him here for the 6th to make that 7th position. After tonight, you will not see another broadcast on the Captain Esports Network outside of me racing until December 30th, which is a week from Friday. I'm going on vacation. Hope you don't mind. Who knows? Maybe I'll have some big news for you at the new year. Just saying. Arnold out to about a 1 second lead now over O'Rourke. Here's a good battle as Mojica has caught the 4 truck. Top 2 in the point standings. Right there, Bob Gillenwater won the regular season. Had the most points there after 10 races, but Mojica with the most wins. He is going to clear the 4 truck for 4th. As I said earlier, Pedro is arguably the guy to beat in this series this season. Hickman up there at the top running the boards. This track built back in the early or late 1950s to early 1960s. The first race was ran in 1960 at this track. And if you ever want to bet somebody and win a question in a quiz and be like, I bet you I know this answer, this is the question that you want to ask the person, because you will get the question right. And unless you really, 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 really know your racing, you'll never get this question right. So, in 1960 is the one and only time a race at Bristol went caution-free. So, when somebody ever asks you, was there a caution-free Bristol race, you tell them, yes. And up until the Charlotte race of 2006, the 22 cautions it hosted, or it had the record for most cautions in a race at 20. As Standish maybe trying to slide her here on Higman, sure does. Got too high though. Higman with the crossover. Slide job gone wrong. For 3rd, Mojica just mowing through the field. As he gets my O'Rourke for 3rd. And trouble over here in turn 4. Scott Simley's gone around, and that'll bring the caution out. Oh, he gets clobbered by Gerald Livingston. Everybody's better stop here as O'Rourke just caught the wall. As Simley's trying to get turned around. Everybody's stopping for him. And caution is out. We caught the back half of that. So 3 wide down the back. Oh, Wetzel, that's a playoff driver right there. Wetzel, Parker, and Simley get into each other. All three hold on to it. Jason Branch, well, kind of helps finish him off. And those guys come in hot. I think Joe Hudson got the inside wall also, along with Stoney Benfield. And caution is down. We got drivers on pit road here. And they're using the one long pit road here. So they have to start all the way in turn 2 and run all the way around turn 3 and 4 to get to their pit stalls, most of them. There's, I believe, 21 stalls on the front straightaway, so 22nd on back. We'll pit on the back straightaway here. You see some of the trucks rolling off the back stretch over there. Got to stay at 35 miles an hour the whole way. Race off pit road right here. Eric Arnold. All right, we're going to step away for just a quick second. We'll be back here as you're watching the Transervice Winter Truck Series from Sim500 on the Captain Esports Network and iRock TV. All right, back we are. Lap number 44. As Jose Gonzalez going to try some strategy like he did last week at Homestead and is going to lead this race here at lap 44. That cowtails. Did anybody take a photo, by the way, for this for him? I never got a chance to find one at a store. But he literally put the paint scheme on his truck, and he admitted on the broadcast last week, I've never heard of cowtails. He's going to lead him to the green flag here on lap number 44 after the first caution here at Bristol. Back underway. And right away you see Eric Arnold jump to the top side with those fresher tires. I'm surprised Gonzalez didn't go up there, maybe try to take it away from him, make him pass on the bottom. But Arnold's going to go to the lead. Here comes Mojica behind him, Doy Woods right there, and here comes the whole clash of 4 tires. Now it's just a matter of the field not running him over. Just scraping the outside wall, trying to be careful there as they were 3 wide down the back. And now Mike Kelly's going to get stuck behind him. Unfortunately, the thing with short track racing, you got to be very careful. And yeah, you're going to have people kind of mad at you or whatever because you decided not to take tires and you affected somebody else's race. But it's still, it's just like road race. Oh, caution out, Jimmy Coleman. In turn 3 and 4, it looks like, is brought to caution out. Oh, and Montesi is wrecked off the backstretch. And that's another playoff driver with issues. So 2 playoff drivers in 1 wreck. See what happens here as we roll the beautiful bean footage. No contact. Montesi goes around a little bit there, and then Coleman gets hit. And he just tries to stop the truck before there's any more issues. Montesi, on the other hand, is looking for somebody. Or something. Yikes. At least it looked like at first he was looking for somebody. Let me see this again. He's on the outside of 3 there. Kelly makes contact. Great save. Caution's out. We'll just call it weirdness happen. So after tonight, we take 2 weeks off in the series. And then we come back January the 8th. And that will be Daytona International Speedway for race 2. So you have trouble tonight at Bristol. You take a deep breath. And you have to relax for 2 weeks. And then you go to Daytona. Which, again, like Bristol, anything can happen. And then after that, we go to Dover and Las Vegas to finish out the final 4 races of the season, which is, I think, a great series of tracks. Got a short track, of course, the Super Speedway, the 1 miler at Dover, and then the 1.5 mile at Vegas to finish it out. I would argue that Vegas might be the perfect track to finish a championship off at. So Pedro Mojica up here in the 2nd position, started in 9th, has slowly worked his way through the field on the long run there. Has done a great job. Roy Woods there in 3rd. As we'll double up here and go 1 to go. If you're watching over on the Roku on iRock TV, we appreciate you guys over there. Of course, last night you might have heard my voice and seen the broadcast of the Jingle Jam that we did for another series. That was last night, the full distance 400-mile race. That was a lot of fun to do. So this is actually the first time that I've been on back-to-back nights on iRock TV. It's kind of cool. So hopefully everybody's enjoying over there. Pace car pulls off, and we'll go back to green. Eric Arnold on the outside, going to lead him to the green. Down the back straightaway. Mojica clears to 2nd. Here comes O'Rourke, going to try to climb up. Look at Nigel Standish here outside of Doy Woods for 4th. Yeah, here, caution. I thought I heard skid marks somewhere. Oh, right here, Jimmy Coleman, Doug Sigmund. And I think Coleman's not happy with Sigmund. Or something's going on there. Cautions breed cautions. Let's see what happens to the 54. That's a playoff driver. So we've had playoff drivers involved in every caution so far. 94 of Radford clips the wall. Sigmund clobbers the wall and drives down into Jimmy. Jimmy nowhere to go. Oh, and then Stoney Benfield, unfortunately. Yeah, you could tell Jimmy was not happy with Doug. It looks like he and Benefield are going to take the cars behind the wall. So for Jimmy, unfortunately, I'm looking over and seeing 2 cars off track right now. Nope, let me back myself up. I see 4 cars off track. So For Coleman, it looks like it'll be a 22nd place finish unless something else happens and others get back on track. So he'll be the worst finisher of all the playoff drivers. And will, outside of Tommy Ryan, which I don't know. I'm assuming Ryan might have. Well, let me back up with this step. Does Tommy Ryan get a provisional? And if so, do provisionals count in the playoffs? There's a whole bunch of questions in that one, and I'll let the league figure that one out, and we'll tell you next week or 3 weeks from now. Let's we'll pull up Eric Arnold here for a second, see how he's feeling. This 31 truck's looked pretty solid. All right, Eric, you got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir.
All right, man, looking pretty sporty there in that 31 truck. The only competition you've had so far is the outside wall in lap 1. But needless to say, you do got a pretty scary figure there behind you in the 58 truck. How you feel about trying to hold him off here? Do you feel like you got a truck that can do so?
I feel like I can take this thing to victory lane. It's definitely going to be a race with Pedro here. Hopefully, Doy or EJ will help me out and race him.
Which could easily happen. But how's the track feeling? Because I know we're not used to a Bristol day race too much here on iRacing. I know majority, like when we go to Bristol, it's usually a night race or a dirt race or something.
Man, this thing is slick. Let me tell you.
I like the racing slick, and that's what I know this series kind of puts itself on, is make these trucks drivable and stuff like that. So we're looking forward to seeing what you got for Pedro, and best of luck and great job so far in the first 60 laps.
Thank you, sir.
You too. Eric Arnold, feeling pretty confident. Nothing wrong with that. So he put you Voodoo Racing. There he is. He turn the audio on in chat so I can hear what they're saying. It's one thing I sometimes try to do, and then if it's something I can actually say, I'll share it on the air. Let's put it like that. All right, Eric Arnold going to lead him back to the green. Less than 100 laps to go. Mojica to the inside. Doy Woods outside with EJ O'Rourke to his inside. Good jump again for Eric. Mojica able to clear Woods for third, which is not what Eric Arnold wanted. Work their way into turn 3. See if they can kind of get back into a rhythm after what they have had the last couple of laps here. We were able to go about, what, 45 laps before the first caution. And we've had 3 pretty much in succession. Everybody trying to get whatever track position they can get. It gets tougher and tougher to pass as these tires wear out. Eventually, it does become a top groove type of racetrack. As Higman there in that 60 truck doing a great job. He's been kind of up top all night and has been able to hold on. Oh, here we go. And people say Arnold's not the easiest person to pass in this league, and he's got Mojica to his side. Arnold right down on the door. Oh, that's nice of Eric. Merry Christmas in his tuxedo suit. Looks like Eric was able to clear Pedro for now. I think Pedro more backing off right now to try to save those tires. I think you're about to pass Eric on the top side. Pedro looking towards that second groove, brings it back to the bottom. Here, not off the throttle much at all. Maybe a little trail break into the corner, set the nose, and then you're right back to it. Pedro, good run off of 4 that time. Here he comes. Doyle Woods is hanging right there. Well, Tyler Dalton up to the 5th position. Up, caution back out. And this one's for Troy Radford in the 94. Radford goes around, brings out the 4th caution at lap number 94. And I think this is kind of getting into some interesting territory as we come up towards halfway in this race. You do got 3 sets of tires to work with. We've already used 1 set of tires, most of this field has. So who comes to pit road here and takes a set and leave them with 1 set the rest of the race? So this is going to be an interesting spot here, I think, for some of these drivers. Let's see what they do. Pit road should be open right here off turn 2. So let's see if anybody turns left. So far, no. Josh Parker going to be the first. And I like that strategy from Parker because he is not in the playoffs. These drivers who are not in the playoffs, what do you have to lose? Montesi, the first of the playoff drivers to come in. Of course, he'll probably get that nose fixed up too from pile driving himself, unfortunately, in the back straightaway. He'll get damage fixed likely here. Big shout out to Transervice for sponsoring this Winter Truck Series. Of course, they and Personal Comfort sponsoring the 2 Winter Series that you can check out if you go to sim500.com, their website. You'll be able to get information on both of those series. And let me check on something. I believe... I know the dirt season just wrapped up a couple weeks ago on a Thursday night. Okay, yes, there's a special event coming up here, December 21st, which is Wednesday night, this coming week. That'll be ran at, I'm looking at the banner right here, Federated Auto Parts Raceway, a 100-lap race in the street stocks. If I'm seeing this right, proceeds will go to Toys for Tots. Another great event for that. You can check out that event coming up Wednesday night. Random grid lineups, fixed setup, heats, consolation races, and all that good stuff. Good dirt street stock racing coming up Wednesday night for Toys for Tots. And I believe Peacemaker Gaming is going to be broadcasting that live, so that should be a pretty fun race. If you're a fan of the dirt street stocks at Kenny Schrader's old I-55 Raceway. You know, check that out Wednesday night. I wanted to get that a little promo out there as we get ready to hit the holiday season. Of course, as you know, Toys for Tots, a great organization that helps those with need have a great Christmas that we will all sit here and have a week from tonight. All right, we're going to try it. We're going to go wide open and turn it up here on the Captain Esports Network as we go green, right at halfway. Oh, caution is out, and Eric Arnold has spun. The leader. And more cars involved, Jeff Ryan. Now, the interesting part to set this up, I overheard chat as the green flag came out. Okay, now I'm getting more confirmation on all this. So, Eric came on the radio and said, I don't think that went the way I wanted or something, like, because you use the Geico restart zone for the restart. And basically because of that, I thought he maybe got penalized or something. But as we show the replay here, it definitely was not what we thought. So let's go back and look at this. E.J. O'Rourke was able to clear Mojica and is going to go for the lead. And from there, things happened. Here we go. O'Rourke just sent it in there and got into him. And bam, Wetzel, another playoff driver, clobbers. And EJ, obviously, he did come over the microphone. That's what kind of told me, okay, that wasn't anything malicious or anything like that. So he did say to Eric, hey, my bad. One of those where I think EJ was expecting Eric to stay up top. But instead, he committed to the bottom at the same time EJ did. Caution out as O'Rourke now will go to the lead. And that's actually two more playoff drivers that are having issues. So much like it seems like anytime a playoff race happens in NASCAR, you get that opening race that always has issues for all the playoff drivers. It's happening tonight too. So you look at Jimmy Coleman, Bobby Wetzel now with multiple issues. Of course now Eric Arnold from the pole with issues. Montesi with issues. And, of course, Tommy Ryan didn't show up, so he's out. So now we're looking at, what, 5 drivers without an issue in this race? All right, so now the field's been shaken up a little bit after that caution. E.J. O'Rourke is going to be the first person not named Eric Arnold to lead him to the green. And that 41 truck, Mojica, will be second now with Doy Woods, Tyler Dalton, and Nigel Standish, your top 5. I do see a little bit of damage on that right front of the 41 here, so let's see if that affects his truck. Usually not much damage will affect the truck here at Bristol, but when you have a little bit of gap between the hood and the front end, there could be a little something. And Eric Arnold did stay on the lead lap, by the way. He's in the 15th position, so we'll see if he works his way up here through the field. As Dalton and Woods battle for third. They climb to 28 degrees of banking there on the top side, 24 degrees at the bottom. Of course, this track used to be 36 degrees of banking. They knocked it down just a wee bit. They get a 3 wide back here. Here comes those fresh tires from a little bit ago. Josh Parker, Jose Gonzalez. Jose trying to go 2 for 2 here in the last 2 weeks. Up, caution back out, and it's back here, Jason Branch. And the 88 has gone around the Limeade Media truck. 4X Racing. Might have it 4X, unfortunately. We can find what happened here on the 6th caution and brings it out. I think another playoff driver got involved. There's Branch, 2 trucks up ahead. Oh, a little contact. Holyfield sideways, and Montesi nowhere to go. Oh, and Wetzel gets in there. As you see with the new iRacing update, things go flying everywhere now when you make contact with stuff. Right on board with Mike again here. Let's see if we can see the accident up ahead. Ooh, I think Branch got in the back of Ron, maybe? And more Bristol happening. And is there issues for Tyler Dalton that we don't know about? I heard him making a chat about making a mistake or something. And Dalton's coming back to pit road here. Did he accidentally maybe go over the pit line at turn 3 instead of turn 2? Not sure if I'll find it, but I'll try. It sounds like what I'm hearing in the chat, that's exactly happened because Tyler's talking about it. As you know, there's that blue line you might have saw to the right of his truck with this 1-lane pit road. Basically, you have to pit at turn 2 and you have to stay to the left of that blue line. I think I might have found the incident. Let's see here. Yeah, look, Tyler's going to commit over that blue line. So he just went to the wrong straightaway. I mean, that's so easy to do with this track because it's different corners. Or similar corners, similar track. You don't know which straightaway you're on. And he just crossed over the blue line there, unfortunately. So that'll probably get him an unsafe pit entry, and I'm not sure how. I believe that is a stop-and-go penalty. If so, he's going to lose probably 3 or 4 laps. Now, if it's just an EOL, then he's going to get very lucky. And that's another playoff driver in trouble. All right, so the top 4 all stayed out. And, of course, Josh Parker, Jose Gonzalez, those guys pitted back at the lap 74 caution. And then the rest of the field from Nigel Standish down have all come to pit road at lap 91. So this is going to get interesting now as we got different tire strategies going on. As O'Rourke leads him back to the green. All right, let's watch Dalton here and see if he does come to pit road. That'll tell me if he has a stop and go or if it was an EOL. And I think he's good. So yeah, he stays out. So he must not have gotten a stop-and-go penalty there for that unsafe entry. John Higman up to the 3rd position. Jose Gonzalez with those fresher tires trying to work his way through, but Standish says, hey, I'll see your fresher tires and go with my freshies. He'll clear Gonzalez now, so Nigel Standish the best of the rest. Oh, and around goes the 94 off turn 2. How did he not collect more trucks? He got all crossed up. And caution 7 on track. I looked over to the right of the screen, and that's where I saw this 94, all types of sideways. Oh, he's loose from the entrance of turn 1. Oh, that's a hospital hopping and everything going on there. Nice job by everybody. A D-do, or whatever you want to call it. Texas two-step. A caution out for the 7th time. Oh, look at this. Pedro Mojica to pit road. Right at the lap 100 mark of this race. A lot of attrition in this race. I wonder if the playoff pressure maybe has a part of it. Doy Woods has also come to pit road. Eric Arnold is in. Mike Montesi. So 4 tires and fuel. And that's going to leave only 2 drivers out that have not pitted since the lap 41 mark, and that being E.J. O'Rourke and John Higman Jr. So the chips are definitely being stacked right now against this 41 and 60, as they're going to be some roughly 40 laps, I would say, on their tires when you just count green flag laps. All right, 7th caution out. Should be getting one to go here. You know, the first, was it 40 laps, 45 laps? We went caution free, and unfortunately, since then, we've had a little bit of argy-bargy, we'll call it. Now it's a lot of pit strategy to come into play here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different strategies right now in play as the green flag comes back out. O'Rourke taking the track position right now over the fresh tires. Gonzalez has moved up to 2nd. Kelly up to 3rd now. Mike Kelly, the first of the drivers that pitted at lap 91 now, up to the 3rd position. And then we got to keep an eye on Mojica. He's the first of those that pitted at lap 101. There's Pedro down at the bottom right now. Like I said, 4 different strategies in play, and for the lead, Jose Gonzalez. Tries to maybe slide up. EJ with a good run off, and Kelly almost got the outside wall. I don't know which strategy right now is the best to have. I think the longer the race goes, you probably want to have the 101 strategy, but we've got the guy with the oldest tires in the field right now leading this race. We've got a guy with 90 tires since lap 91 in second, a guy with tires since 74 in third, and then you got the freshest tires now sitting back in the 7th position. As Bobby Wetzel brings his 9 car to pit road. We ride with Mojica here as he's in the 7th position. Probably being patient, trying to save the truck a little bit here. As up front, Mike Kelly going for the lead. Oh, some contact. Oh, and more contact. Standish and Medford in the wall. Doy Woods, I think, gets a piece of it. So does maybe Eric Arnold. All going to start. Looks like maybe some potential contact or at least some hard racing up at the front. And I think you're going to see Standish maybe check up a little bit there or whatever happened there. But Medford right there. And they all hit each other. And there, yeah, Jeff Ryan, Eric Arnold gets in it. So the pole sitter, unfortunately, gets a lot of damage. Radford, unfortunately, or Medford, I should say, with a lot of damage on that 83 truck. He's going to be done, it looks like. All right, here's the guys now that pitted on lap 41 to pit road. Some of the 74 lap trucks are on pit road, so with some right side damage there. That might have came with some contact. Let's see. I know the wreck happened behind him, but let's look at this right here. Oh, Mike got loose on entry. They doored each other there. Okay, so it wasn't as bad as I thought. And I think Kelly actually got the lead. That's what brought EJ to pit road. So 8th caution out here. And again, after tonight, 2 weeks off for this truck series. We'll come back at the beginning of January for Daytona. And again, they got the Toys for Tots Dirt event at I-55 Speedway, Federated Auto Parts Speedway there in Missouri, coming up Wednesday night. Then you won't actually see me on the air again outside of if I decide to race or not sometime. You won't see me on the stream really until December 30th. And I literally have like one race until that January 8th race, and that's December 30th. So I get one race in like 3 weeks. So it's actually going to be kind of refreshing to take time off, but who knows? Maybe I'll work on some stuff on the stream and make it even better. Or try to. All right, here we go. Back to green. 40 laps to go. All different types of strategies everywhere. Kelly gonna try to run away. Tyler Dalton right there in the third position. And the first on the 4 tires from this caution is that 26 truck right there on the inside, Jose Gonzalez. As I think Dalton might have caught the wall a little bit there. Right on board with Josh Parker, 7th position. As Gonzalez tries to clear Hickman, he does that. Now he's got to try to clear Gillenwater. And Kelly's got to try to hold off his team name teammate, and Gonzalez clears himself. And then Parker, a little slider on Gillenwater. Now the question I think of right now is I'm watching up ahead there, I'm watching Mojica staying on the back bumper of Kelly but not able to make a move right now, is how many cautions does it take, if it's even just one caution, that'll almost even out these tires with a little wear on them. As Mojica looks to the bottom on Kelly, I think Mike's going to sit there and run the top and make him pass him. As Gonzalez up to third. Parker and Dalton battling for 4th. You'll probably see a slider here for Parker, I think. As Parker has the fresher tires there, so good pass on his end. And look at this, Gonzalez has joined the battle. And here comes Josh Parker now. So the 2 lead cars that pitted at lap 117 are right on the back bumper of these leaders. And here comes Hickman, who's another one. So I think exactly what you're seeing here is the cars that pitted prior to the caution, those tires have kind of evened out because of the yellow and the heat cycle, as they call it. And here come the fresh tires now, as Gonzalez clears for 2nd up the middle. And he's going to throw a slider maybe here. He's clear. Gonzalez to the lead. And here comes Parker turning it sideways. Yikes. Mojica said, how are you playing that game? Parker with shades of Briscoe on the dirt. Gonzalez has driven away 1.17 seconds lead. Yeah, that was a hell of a slider is what that was. That right rear is like, dude, help. Jose Gonzalez, I'm not sure exactly how long he's been in this league, but literally last week, picked up his first victory in this league. And here he is now 20 laps away from winning back-to-back truck races. And of course, here's the question. I don't know who has what tires left at all. I mean, we've got, again, all the different strategies that have happened. I'm assuming Mike Kelly and Tyler Dalton probably have a set left, because they pitted at lap 91. Those two right there. Otherwise, everybody at 117 or 101. As O'Rourke trying to get around Mojica now for fourth. Dalton and Kelly battling back there for sixth. Dalton takes that away from Mike. And EJ, I think, is going to clear the fit. Oh, and up against the walls, Parker, as Hickman tries to get around him for second. Oh, hold on, Parker. How about John Hickman Jr. in that 60 truck? O'Rourke, another truck that pitted at 117. So I think definitely the right move here was trying to be the caution that took tires and not have a caution follow it. Because you look at these other drivers that pitted at lap 91 at that caution, at 101 at that caution. Then they had the caution at 115. The heat cycles kind of reset the tires and made them all equal. And yet the group that pitted at the last caution has been the group that's been able to jump to the front. And Speedy Gonzalez has pulled away 3.1 seconds. And the driver, one of the, you could call them originals in this series. 13 laps away from another win, but of course it's Bristol, so anything can happen in these next literal 5 minutes before this race could be over. Troy Radford, good bounce back for him after his spin a little bit ago. He's battling for seventh. How about Doy Woods? And I can speak for the delivery parcel people. He's got UPS on his truck. I actually work for FedEx. When we're done with this peak season, when Christmas is over, our trucks usually look like his. As the battle for second, here comes O'Rourke. Lap truck of Wortman giving him plenty of room on the outside. This race has been all types of topsy-turvy and upside down. Eric Arnold leading the first half of the race, literally. O'Rourke trying to make a move to take the lead. Unfortunately, gets in the back of Arnold, turns him around. Leads some laps, and the 41 does, and then he ends up losing the lead to Mojica, I believe, or was it Kelly? I'm sorry. Kelly and O'Rourke battle for the lead, and then Jose Gonzalez comes to life as O'Rourke takes advantage of lap traffic and goes to second. So that's 1-2 now for non-playoff drivers. Five laps to go for Jose. As a matter of fact, as I'm looking at these numbers, yes, tonight is the first race of the playoffs, but we're about to have potentially the third straight race with a non-playoff driver going to victory lane if we stay green for another 3 laps. Holyfield going to get lapped here by the 26. There's Bob Gillenwater. We might have to call Harry Hyde. I think there's a special set of tires on his 26 truck. as he'll come off turn 4 and see the white flag. Final lap. They always say the first race is the hardest one to win. He went and did that last week. And he's going to say, hey, playoff boys, I just got another one. Jose Gonzalez, Cowtails, goes to victory lane in Bristol. O'Rourke going to get second. And Higman going to be a top 3 finisher. Mojica finishes 4th with, contact with Parker. I mean, we might need to get somebody to get this guy some Cowtails. All right, let's take a look at the final results as Gonzalez burns it down there at the start-finish line. 4.8 seconds over E.J. O'Rourke. Gonzalez wins again. Higman finishes 3rd. Pedro Mojica 4th. And Tyler Dalton, make that Josh Parker 5th. Tyler Dalton 6th. Troy Bradford comes back to 7th. Mike Kelly and Doy Woods 8th and 9th. And Bob Gillenwater ends up 10th. Ron Holyfield, Nigel Standish, and Mike Montesi end up 11th, 12th, and 13th, respectively. Garrett Austin 14th. Brian Wortman, Doug Sigmund finishes 16th. Eric Arnold, unfortunately, 17th after starting on the pole and leading all those laps early. Not going to get the result he wanted tonight. Jeff Ryan, 18th. Brandon Medford, Bobby Wetzel, Jason Branch, Jimmy Coleman, Stoney Benefield, Derek Myers, Joe Hudson, Gerald Livingston, and Scott Simley, the 27 racers. I'll make sure it was 27. Yeah, it looks like that was accurate. To start the race here this evening. He's still out there celebrating. Why not? He's got a Bristol win, of all places. We're going to talk to our top 3 drivers. That race had all its ups and downs and craziness to it. As we bring John Higman up here to join us, man. John, great finish for you. I know I don't get a chance to talk to you too often in the races like this, but so it's good to see you up here in the top 3. Not to mention, if this is any kind of positive, you were the best of those in the playoffs.
Awesome. That's kind of surprising.
Hey, we all have our moments and stuff, man. You ran a fairly good race. I mean, only the rear end was really damaged. Talk about the racing, because we had 40 laps of green, which made it look like, hey, we might go green for a while here. And then after that, it became kind of a Bristol race, so to say, for a little bit. And then, obviously, the last 40 laps going green flag to the end.
Yeah, the biggest thing about all that was I was trying to figure out when to pit.
Right.
And most of my teammates pitted the caution before, and I kind of thought I was a little screwed there. But, we didn't. It wasn't very long until our next caution, so I went ahead and went there, and it turned out to be the right thing to do.
Yeah, it seemed like the tires, after a heat cycle on them, I mean, I don't know how much that matters in iRacing or not, but it just seemed like no matter how long you went, if you were to pit like 20 laps after the people ahead of you, if you went for like 2 laps and another caution came out, it was almost like those tires evened out.
Yeah, it's like a heat cycle really,
right.
Took a couple of tenths or 3 tenths or something off the speed of the truck or something. It was weird.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations on that. Send some shouts whoever you like to.
Thanks. I'd like to thank Sim500 for putting this thing on, and Transervice for sponsoring the series. Like to thank you at Captain Esports Network. Did I say that right?
Something like that.
All right. And I'd like to thank everybody else that makes this thing possible for me, because I've been having a blast doing this.
Good, man. That's awesome to hear, and congratulations, John. Well done, and we'll see you in 3 weeks. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I get to say it for the first time. See you next year.
Thanks, you too.
All right, buddy. John Higman Jr. finishing in the 3rd position here tonight at Bristol. So great job on his part. We'll move him back down to the Sim500 channel, and let's get our runner-up as Jose does his version of the. I think Kurt Busch called this the unwind lap at one point. As O'Rourke joins us up here in the booth, man. EJ, one thing I know, you're one that gets out to these races a lot, does some things. So I'll ask you this question. It seemed like to me, as by the way, congrats on finishing second. It seemed to me that the trucks tonight, like, it was almost a game of find that last pit stop, because the tires were like equaling out after cautions.
Yeah, here in Bristol, Tennessee, the concrete surface heats up a lot, I guess, and tires were pretty important. I didn't think to be this important. I kind of feel like I gave one away. I do feel bad for Eric Arnold. I got into him there. We're just racing hard, and lead is important. And I felt like I was under him just enough, but I threw it in there kind of deep too. So I do feel bad for him, and I hate getting into him like that. I don't think it's really his fault or my fault, but it is what it is.
Yeah, unfortunate deal there. Was that just one of those you maybe felt that he might stay a little high in the corner and you thought you had the bottom lane coming?
I just felt like, him being the leader, he'd run the top, and he's been running the bottom most of the race. But I had such a run, I didn't think he would, run the bottom, because I think he'd figured I'd go to the bottom. But
right.
It's just one of those things. I don't know. I feel bad. I didn't think I'd even have a shot at the lead because he was the leader, and I just got a real good run off to 1 and 2, and then the next lap, another good run off 1 and 2. And I was really rolling the bottom there, so I figured if I can get to the bottom and just be side by side with him, I think eventually it'd pay off. I'd clear him, but yeah.
Didn't happen, unfortunately. Well, still, it was a great run, man, and another top 3 finish. You were talking about last week how they were going to keep coming, and here they are. You're rolling through them. Unfortunately, you get 2 weeks off before you get to try it again at Daytona, but I do remember you winning a Daytona race here this year, so we might see you in victory lane next week. But shout out to whoever you like to, bud.
Yeah, this personal comfort Chevrolet runs real good at Daytona. Hopefully, I just feel like I'm right there. Just want to, try to gain a little bit more, and we'll see what we can do next week. I know I'm outside of the playoffs, so I don't want to be too stupid, but we're also here to win too.
Oh, well, great job, man. Congratulations, and enjoy your holidays.
Appreciate it, Chris. Thank you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you guys, and we'll see you in January.
Yes, sir. Merry Christmas to you also. As
Thank you.
EJ O'Rourke finishes in the 2nd position, and the man's ran 4 laps backwards. I'm counting as we go. His engine is smoking up a storm. Somebody get some brats out. Well, we're going to bring the winner here tonight at Bristol. This guy all of a sudden just became the hottest driver on the circuit. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe it's the cowtail power or what the deal is, but Jose Gonzalez, man, what in the world is you're back in victory lane again?
That's right. I'm loving it. 2 in a row.
So what's up here? Are you just trying to blow the motor up?
It's already blown.
Oh, well, you've run like 10 laps backwards.
Yeah, just having a little fun waiting here.
Well, talk about the race, man, because you had the lead a little bit ago in the race, about midway, and you decided not to take tires. Everybody come to pit road, you're like, nah, I'm gonna hang out. You finally come in and get tires, and it was like you just waited, and finally it became that guessing game of when to get that set of tires on your truck to hope you don't get a caution again. And it was like your truck just took off. Was it that fast the whole night, or was it just one of those things where just kind of worked out for you?
Yeah, well, you know me, I save tires, and the first long run, I was just riding the bottom and saving my stuff, and when the caution came out, my car felt fine, and I know once the caution comes out here in Bristol, the cautions breed cautions, and I know there's going to be more cautions eventually. So I was first place and just stay there. A couple of guys back weren't happy about it, but I was holding my line. I wasn't bothering people except those who wanted to pass me too quick.
Right.
But I felt, there's going to be more cautions, and, if there's a caution in 20, 25, 30 laps, that would be great for me because I would come in and everybody else would stay out, and then I would be the one with the fresh tires. I think Josh Parker was on the same strategy, and I thought it was I think the first caution came out lap 50, was it?
Yeah, it was 40 or 50, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, so I there was still a lot of race to go, so I just I held on to my other set of tires and hope for the best.
It definitely worked out for you, man. You were able to put that set on at 117, and and one thing that I talked to the other drivers about, it seemed like the tires, like if you even got a couple laps on them and a yellow come out, it was like you were back even with everybody. So it was almost like I said earlier, the game of being the last one to pit under a caution to have the freshest tires, and it worked out for you. The seas parted, you went right up the middle there, took the lead. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, you do have better tires, but you still have to manage the traffic. There were a couple of guys behind me that were also in my strategy, and they couldn't, go through traffic as well as I could do. And I was, you wanna be careful not to be over aggressive, and be patient and find your spot, and that's the way you have to do it, so you don't wreck. I was with EJ, no, Mike Kelly, and who was the car? Pedro,
Mm-hmm.
and they were side by side, and I was just waiting and waiting and waiting for my spot, and I saw an open, and I just slid through the middle of them and took the inside. Once I got the inside, I got the fresh tire, so I knew I was gonna go ahead and take it.
Well,
I
great.
mean, I was
Good.
I was pretty sure that a caution was going to come out in the last 10 laps. I I get that a lot.
Well, yeah, that'll happen sometimes, but yeah, and a couple times I heard somebody say something in chat, and I'm like, oh, that's usually the yellow flag afterwards, but it didn't come out, and I'm like, all right, we keep going. But
Exactly, I heard something in the back. Somebody said something. I think that when I listened carefully, I think they just said thank you, and I'm like, okay,
usually,
okay,
yeah, right, yeah, but usually it's the word like, hey, I appreciate that, or hey, thanks, or something sarcastic.
right,
Usually
right.
it's 2 seconds later, up, caution's out, type of thing. But man, you did it,
Yeah.
man. Second straight win. You're now unfortunately not in the playoffs, but you're definitely doing your thing right now in the series, and you get to be the lead. You're basically the guy that everybody's watching now for the next 2 weeks while they sit on the couch until Daytona, and you've won the last 2 races.
Yeah, that feels good. I'm really happy. I was actually not gonna race this. I just came home and I saw it was Bristol. I'm like, I don't know, Bristol.
Yeah, because that's all places like, yeah, I guess I'll race. What?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I did. I mean, I'm like, oh, I don't know, Bristol. I don't like this track that much. I don't have anything better to do.
Well, there you go. 26
So I'm
other
glad
drivers.
I did.
Now you've just ticked off of the other 26 drivers, so great job on that. So congratulations, and shout out to everyone too.
Yeah, I wanna dedicate this one to Mike Kelly. He was the one that got pissy about my pit strategy. So how do you like me now? How do you like me now, Mike?
Wow. Shots fired.
Yeah, we're just messing.
I know. It's all good. But no, great job, man. Congratulations on the win. And yeah, go celebrate. Go have a Merry Christmas. Let's see. That would be a Feliz Navidad. And
Yeah.
Happy New Year. And we'll see you next year.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chris.
Hey,
You too.
You too, buddy. As Jose Gonzalez in victory lane tonight for a second straight week. And I'm pretty sure he and Mike Kelly are going to be sharing ham with each other over the holidays. So, with that said, man, what a race it was. What a great race. Had some entertainment, had some angriness, which, hello, it's Bristol. If you don't leave your anger in the other Bristol in Virginia, then you're not going to have a good feeling leaving this track. But what a race it was. Congratulations to Jose on the win. We're going to head out. Appreciate everybody from iRock TV for allowing us to broadcast this race over on their Roku channel. Make sure you get a subscription to that. You can also check out iRock-TV. You can subscribe if you don't have Roku. You can just go on the internet and get it from there too. Also, of course, YouTube and Twitch and Facebook and Twitter for allowing us to broadcast. It's been a very fun year of racing. I do have one more broadcast left, and I'll go ahead and make mention of it. It's an actual fun event. It's not like a series that I usually cover. But ESOM Racing is going to have a Dash for Cash event coming up December the 30th. That is the broadcast that I have coming up. That is going to, I think it's at Daytona. It's here at Daytona. It's one of the super speedways. So we'll have that race coming up December 30th, and that'll be it for the Captain Esports Network for 2022. Hard to believe that I've been back in broadcasting fully now for 3 years. And then, of course, it was off and on for, the 3 or 4 years before that. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate Sim500. This has been a very fun year to be a part of with Joey Jatina and those guys there, and looking forward to what 2023 comes. And I can't say too much. I just hope maybe, potentially, in 2 weeks, I'll be able to tell you guys something that will be a dream come true, potentially. So let's just say your prayers. Let's put it like that. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and always remember this isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!
And now the wait is over. The nerves have taken their toll. Ooh. Let go of